All right, Bernie, can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Well, you know how I love to introduce myself.
Yes.
I never pass up that opportunity. Bernie Youngblood, founder, CEO of Think Partners, also director of partnerships, Hot Logic, also co-founder and host of the Unboxing the Office podcast. I get bored easily. As you can tell, I think we're running 8 different companies right now. The workaholic, that goes without showing. So I guess I should say I got my start in finance. Came out of college a long, long time ago with a degree in finance.
You don't have to provide the year.
Right. I'll nail it by describing it as the height of the savings and loan banking crisis.
Okay.
So there were no jobs. So I actually, after a short stint, I went to work for one of our family companies and helped my mother guide that company through a successful bankruptcy reorganization, which has taken me decades to really come to grips with because it was a very traumatic experience. Suffice to say, I quickly left finance because I did not enjoy that ride, even though bankruptcy professionals make a lot of money, in fairness. Went to sales and marketing and fell in love and stood there for 30 years. But I get bored easily. So along the way, I think I'm on startup number 8 that I helped or created on my own. The startup exit. I was I guess I would describe myself as an accidental serial entrepreneur. Never liked the moniker.
Well, tell me about the unboxing podcast.
That was a brilliant idea that I cannot take credit for.
Okay.
My client, Jake Wisner at Hot Logic, speaking of plugs, the only known alternative to the microwave in the corporate break room.
Did he just plug an ad in my show?
Sorry. Fair warning. Have we met?
Not sponsored, by the way.
Oh, we'll work on that. We're going to work on that. So we're standing around at a trade show representing this product, and he got the idea, hey, this trade show sucks. Let's do a podcast. Folks who invest in culture buy our product. Let's start a podcast to talk about culture and then gratuitously promote our product. And it took a year to get the thing off. The podcasts are not easy. You know something about that?
Just a little bit,
So it wasn't my idea. I wish I could take credit for it, but we're having a lot of fun with it.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. I had the pleasure, if you guys haven't seen our episode 12, right? Episode 12?
Yes.
All right. It's coming out soon.
Yes.
And I think it's worth a listen to.
I think it's our best yet.
Maybe even a watch.
Yes.
Can't say that.
I think it was.
I had a great time.
And I can't wait until our next episode next season.
Oh, okay. That's another invitation?
There's a lot of content here.
I mean, yeah, it's really an endless topic.
Corporate culture, conflict,
Yeah. Never
peanut
ending.
butter, chocolate, the 2 great tastes that go great together.
That's
Reese's
very true.
peanut butter. I'm not going to plug Reese's peanut butter cups.
Please don't.
I love them.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the depth of your work. So your work reflects the notion that wellness isn't a perk, it's infrastructure. So what does that mean to you?
Boy, that's a question.
It is a question.
We're going to spend the rest of the hour on that.
Okay.
Health and wellness is a real thing. More challenging today than ever. Our food systems are not built to keep us healthy. Our healthcare systems are not built to keep us healthy. It is an amazing environment in which we operate today. All these systems are arrayed against us. Sleep, to take one example. Sleep is necessary, but our culture suggests that, there's plenty of time to sleep when you're dead.
I hate that saying.
And right, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So this affects our personal lives. This affects our professional lives, and it is most stark when it comes to creativity and innovation. You can check boxes when you're tired. You can do rudimentary tasks when you're tired, and here comes the age of AI. We're doing away with that.
Right.
But in order to be creative, in order to be innovative, you need those, forgive the expression, creative juices flowing. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that without rest. Mm-hmm. You can't do that without being healthy. Mm-hmm. And too many organizations cast that aside. They don't take health and wellness into account, or they just paper over the issue, right? There's a snack machine. We provided a snack machine. You're good.
Right.
And they don't, because it's a, dare I say, touchy-feely, esoteric, very difficult idea to nail down. It doesn't fit. There's no row on the spreadsheet for the Harvard MBAs to really identify. You can't tie it directly to the bottom line, so it's gone.
Yeah, and I mean, and thinking about companies trying to make some sort of effort, whether that's the vending machine or the quiet room or whatever that looks like, what patterns do you see most often in companies or organizations that mean well but miss the mark?
Are you just baiting me into more gratuitous hot logic plugs?
Please don't.
Did I write these questions? So, patterns, you suggest. So, I think, if I might, I'll take a departure from my obvious answer and suggest what COVID did was reveal to us that the 9 to 5 system wasn't working. I think Gen Z is amplifying that impact now because they've been unleashed, taken off the leash, so to speak, given the ability to roam free, right? They can now, and all of us, we can take a stand. I'm working from home because that's how I work best. And if you don't like it, I got 10 other job offers waiting for me because I'm good at what I do. You know, your best players will be the first ones to leave, right? And when they leave, they'll have 10 other offers in their pocket. Keep this in mind. So
Stop looking at the camera, Bernie. At me.
you know me, I'm a hopeless pitchman. Right? I want to talk to my audience. So I think what it has revealed is it is positive. And corporate profits all-time high again somehow, right? It has revealed that this system can work, and return to work is a thing, and many organizations, for many reasons, need people at their desks on site. You know, the barista has to draw the coffee, right? But in the case where there's not a specific need to be on site, work from home is a real thing, and COVID revealed that, and Gen Z now can benefit from it, which is good because Gen Z's on fire. Gen Z, that is a generation that has a rocket strapped to their back, and we've given them now the keys. And it's very exciting to see what they're going to be able to do with it. So in terms of patterns, that's a good pattern brought about by a horrible, dreadful event, but it's a good pattern. The bad pattern, I would say, was what existed before that. I'll reference Joe versus the Volcano if you haven't seen the movie. Very exciting movie. One of my favorites, Meg Ryan, the Tom Hanks, who doesn't love that pair. But locking people in an office with bad fluorescent lighting and cubicles. I got into a discussion about this. My wife and I fight about this all the time. My wife hates AI. She suggests no Hollywood movie ever had a happy ending with AI. And I'm embracing it. As a Christian, I like to say, you know, as the old expression goes, God can use all things for good. So if we take the standpoint that yes, AI represents creative destruction, the next 10 years are going to be very tumultuous, to put a very singular word upon it, right? But destruction it will be. For those organizations that understand the key to success in the age of AI is the human element.
Very true.
AI, we have to keep in mind, AI is derivative by nature. AI is based on the sum total of human knowledge and nothing more. Right? We have not experienced the singularity yet. It cannot think on its own that we're aware of yet. Maybe soon. So at the moment, it's derivative, specifically. I do not believe it has the capability of feeding our soul for that reason. And so if you're looking for creativity, if you're looking for innovation, if you're looking to release gifts into the world, it's only the human component that's going to be able to do this. And if we can remove the mundane, because I did not believe God put us on this earth to manage spreadsheets or to manage our email inboxes, if we can crack that puzzle. If we can remove the mundane, and allow our humans to focus on what they were intended to do, I believe it's going to release tremendous gifts into the world. I have no idea if this answers the question you asked, but I love talking about it.
So what I picked up from that kind of aligns is it sounds like companies missed the mark with focusing on the human element.
Yes.
New technologies. And as far as working from home, do you think they're missing the mark with providing more of those like opportunities? Or where do you think they missed the mark with that earlier point?
I think what's important, and you're asking the right question. I think my response to that would be the message of, I'm not going to quote Frozen, but the message is let it go. And I'm not going to break out into song, I promise. Let it go. No, there's the pull quote. But no, I think that's important. And not to put things in too fine a point, because offices are important. The community of your coworkers is critical.
That's true.
And offices foster that culture. But what we're talking about here is the human element. I believe that every human on this planet was given, I'm a Christian, so I have these beliefs, forgive me. I believe that every human on this planet was given gifts. Every single one, no exceptions. And if they are so fortunate as to discover those gifts during their lifetime, it is their obligation to share them with the world. And if they're able to do that, we can do incredible things. And so the corporate challenge is to create an environment conducive to that human element, being able to discover and release those gifts into the world. If it's work from home, if it's in the office, if it's on top of a skyscraper, I don't care. We're on top of a mountain. Whatever they need, that's what they should get, within reason.
Right. But how do we get leaders to stop performing care and start practicing it?
Unfortunately, for most, it's too late. For precious few, there are, without a doubt, it's the early adopter curve, obviously accelerated. I believe there is a small cadre of executives who understand this, who understand it right now. And I was talking about this with a friend of mine in the space the other day. Think of it like a ticking clock. Train leaving the station. You want to be on the train? Fine. You don't want to be on the train? Fine. But that clock is ticking, right? When the train pulls out of the station. So if you will, we have the tech, even with AI as cryptic as it is today, because it's going to get better fast. Even with the technology we have today, a 4-person team working out of their garage can go head to head on a global enterprise proposal with Oracle today. A 4-person team working out of their garage can go head to head with any services, not manufacturing, that's a different issue, but there's other caveats. Any services organization on the planet, global enterprise, rollout, whatever you want, head to head today. So if those large enterprises don't want to get on the train, that's fine. But guess what? I live in Troy, Michigan. Troy, Michigan was once home to 5, no less than 5 Fortune 500 companies. Kmart was one of them. They just tore down that headquarters building this summer.
That's crazy.
Right? The Delphi Corporation was one of them. That's a shadow of its former self, right? Automotive, of course. The history is littered with relics. Kodak invented the digital camera, invented it themselves, and was destroyed by it because they didn't have the courage to push it into the marketplace. You want to be on the train? Great. You don't want to be? Great. That's what creative destruction is all about.
So you think the capacity for leaders to move from performance to practicing is dead? You're either on the train or you're not.
It's going to be difficult. There's a small percentage of them will do it.
That's why Low Insights Consulting exists. Right?
Yes. We're going to have to be honest, we're going to have to drag them into it kicking and screaming.
Of course.
And I'm not putting the blame on them.
Yeah.
They answer to a board. The board answers to shareholders. Shareholders want what shareholders want, and each of these stakeholders is critical. And I suggested to someone just the other day, even if you had a CEO that had all the answers, here's the book, A, B, C, here's how we're going to do it, here's how much it's going to cost, the board's going to say no. They're going to say no. We're not going to spend that on that. No, nah. My kids hate me when I use Gen Z words. Meh. So even if the CEO is on board, right? Can they get the project approved?
Right.
Because guess what? It's a multi-$100 million cost, multi-year effort with God knows what returns. Could save the company, could kill the company, right? In the meantime, ask Yellow Cab how they feel about Uber, right? Go right down the line on the number of examples we've had where Yellow Cab was charging, I forget how many tens of thousands of dollars for medallions, right up to the end. And they tried to sue Uber into oblivion. I wonder who won that fight.
Right.
In the end, the consumers are going to decide who wins and loses, not the folks in the boardroom. So it's not their fault. We will save everyone that we can.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talked a little bit about Fortune 500 companies in particular. And when I was on your show, we talked a little more broadly about institutions like academic and nonprofits, et cetera. So between our two conversations, what lessons do you think translate between them?
And how they can learn from each other?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good question. It's that one is, I don't have all the answers.
Oh,
right?
Nobody does.
But what I would probably suggest, and I don't know if you're going to like this answer. I think, see, there's a book. Right now, I'm reading a book by the name of Big Bang Disruption. Larry Downes, the author, which is the sequel to a book written in the 90s called Unleashing the Killer App.
Okay.
Excellent book, written in the 90s, still recommended. The 12 principles of the killing app, of the killer app, still recommended reading today. One of the principles of that book, treat your assets as liabilities, would reveal the answer to that.
Okay.
I'm going to suggest that the answers we seek do not lie within the corporations, within the institutions. Harvard's a great school, obviously. The Oracle's a wonderful organization. Love Larry Ellison. No disrespect there. But these large enterprises, they are the proverbial aircraft carrier that cannot be turned, one looking upon the other. I'm going to suggest we have to look to another principle of the killer app: hire the children. I think we have to look to Generation Z. I think we have to look to the small, as Silicon Valley always has, small organizations who will be leading the charge in this effort. And I'm going to pray in this case, because as has always been, I shouldn't say always, very often been the strategy. What these large organizations have done is they've bought these small companies, and they either put them on the shelf or shut them down. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to suggest in this case is they don't shut them down, they don't put them on the shelf, they in fact put their ideas into action, because guess what? Where that one came, there's 1,000 more behind it. Mm-hmm. The idea of software hegemony is over. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say look to small groups and the younger generations for the answer.
Okay. And well, thinking about, let's say, the groups and the team building aspect of it, how do we move past hierarchy and title and build real trust within a team? And do you think that's the right direction?
That's key. Trust within the team, right? And within a large organization, maintaining, obviously, hierarchy is important. I think we're entering a time, let me rephrase, I hope. We're entering a time when leaders recognize that empathy is a valuable skill, that kindness is a valuable skill. Mm-hmm. And I think something that's going to help is we're long past an age where you can say one thing and do another, right? Mm-hmm. As an astronomer, and take your pick on the social media exposés that have fallen out, that have occurred We live now in an instantly public world.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly. Instantly, nearly public world. There's still some mystery. Some mystery is good. I've been married 31 years. I've been trying to maintain some mystery.
Okay.
We work very hard on that. But I think for leaders today, and we live with a workforce that's never been more mobile. All your good people have multiple offers in their pocket right now. Every one of them. It's not just LinkedIn and all the, I won't plug the online job platforms, but they're great. It's not just that, but good people are a scarce commodity. Your best people are just looking for an excuse to walk. If you cannot create a culture of, I'm going to use the word kindness. Mm-hmm. I know it's a challenging word in a corporate environment. As one of my clients used to say, don't be a 4-letter word. I won't use that word on your podcast, right?
Please.
Don't be a jerk.
Okay.
That's important. But it's important now more than ever because what these executives are doing is happening live in real time online. And when you're exposed, you're done. And that not only astronomer, I think they're going to have to change their name. I mean, how are they going to survive this, right? Mm-hmm. For a stupid thing. But when these executives behave badly, and not only it's a career-ending move for them, but it's also has a very significant impact on the brand that they represent. And we're all brand ambassadors, as we've seen in recent history. No matter where you're working, if it's at a Starbucks or a school, you're a brand ambassador for that employer. And so that employment contracts have to be revised to, of course, accommodate that. But so I'd like to suggest, as though, however challenging it might be, that incorporating empathy and kindness into your team culture is going to be important, not just to retain your best and brightest, but also because to recognize you're on the stage. You're on the world stage at all times. Someone's got a camera. Someone's recording you, and they're Facebook living or posting you that day. So that's my best approach to that question.
I mean, and I love the shift of focusing on kindness and empathy. I think there's still two very taboo keywords in this space, and you get a lot of resistance for it still. And to me, it's such a basic human characteristic that we should be practicing every single day.
You'd like to think so.
You would really, really hope so. I mean, you would really hope so.
Yes.
But so in doing this work of cultural transformation from the inside out for organizations, why do you think empathy or kindness is still it seems like it's like the most resistant part of a leader to take in?
I have an answer for that.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked it. I've been looking forward to this episode. When Dr. Lowe invited me on her episode, I said to myself, yes, we've got a lot to talk about. One of the challenges, and since we've known each other for a short time, I think I've already warned you, I'm crazy.
And I think within 5 seconds of talking to you, the world knows.
Let's start there. Okay. But I've long held a belief that there is a problem with the way with the way we raise our children. There's the pull quote, right? So from a very early age, we play board games, we play card games, we play computer games that teach children that in every transaction there's a winner and a loser, and then they play sports. And from youth leagues all the way through the professional and online gambling, God help us. In every transaction we enter, we expect there to be one winner, one loser. And so we've, forgive me for using the word, indoctrinated our children from a very young age to go forth into life. And I'm going to take a leap, create opportunities for transactions that always result in one winner and one loser. And I'm here to tell you, it's bull crap. It's bull crap. in sports is what it is, and sports is great. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. Pray for me. So maybe this explains a lot, but but in business, this rule does not have to apply. My wife's in real estate. She's a great real estate agent. In every transaction she helps to execute. She helps a buyer find their dream home. She helps a seller get a fair price for their home, right? If you're selling cars, if you're providing coffee, you're providing a wonderful cup of coffee, and someone's paying money for that coffee. It's a win. It's a win. Unfortunately, and there are movies and Hollywood promotes this, too often in business, we have people who suit up, go to battle, insert war analogy here. I'm going to destroy my competition. And Jack Welch has been painted with a broad brush. In this case, I shouldn't call him out, but too often is the case that people enter business transactions not for the purpose of winning. They enter business transactions for the purpose of destroying their competition. They don't want that transaction. They want to put their competitor out of business. They want their competitors' employees to be unemployed, and they want the competitors' children to be hungry. I mean, actually, these are actual words I've heard in my 30 years, right? And I think a lot of that is this toxic masculinity. Let's not talk about that. But men,
All of the
in particular, right? We got testosterone. I'm not afraid to call them out. But from a very young age, we teach kids.
Yeah.
There has to be a tie, bad. There always has to be one winner and one loser. And in business, in corporate America, it does not have to be that way. And unfortunately, a lot of executives call me the crazy one.
Well, one interesting point that I can build upon that I have some alignment with is a lot of the communication skills that I do find having to try to teach adults in corporate or any institution really. They are things that I wish were taught much younger. They're basic communication skills, active listening, again, just empathy, like just connecting, understanding instead of trying to win an argument. All of these things, it's so much easier to instill healthy habits in a younger person than to try to get someone older to unlearn unhealthy habits they've been doing for 40 plus years. And I think the resistance comes from, it's never fun to match, to just overnight feel like you have to change. It feels like yourself, like you're changing your personality or something else. But the reality is we've been doing and saying a lot of wrong things for a long time. And I think we're finally just at a point where we realize maybe that's not the best way to communicate that or say that or approach this. And we're doing that collectively in a moment. And so when you try to change a behavior at a mass level, you get a lot of resistance, right? But again, it goes back to creating those safe communication and healthier communication spaces while people are young. So the way you grow up and you do these things second nature and naturally. Because one thing that's tricky too is like, I'll do a workshop or something and you're teaching a bunch of, it seems like tools, right? Like it's just like, well, this is how you, even on your show we talked about this, like the skills we were teaching, right?
Yes.
And then one thing I get, which I think is actually a really good question is, well, how do I enter my next conversation without sounding like a robot, like trying to let me pause and reflect and let me think of how to respond? Like, so that's not what we're trying to do in the moment.
Yes.
But again, if we had took all these skills one by one and grown them organically over time, it's just something that comes out naturally when you're communicating with someone, So that part, I definitely want to emphasize the importance of what we teach our kids matters, and it does come out one way or another as they get older.
Can I add an anecdote?
Yeah, please.
So, and by the way, I think Gen Z works much better with conflict. Big fan of Gen Z. So but let me give you a micro example of that brings all of this into the fold. So I have a good friend who works from home for a large construction company, and this person is in charge of doing estimates and drawings for this construction firm, and works on a team. And because the, uh, because he works from home,
Mhm.
the he hasn't had a chance to really get to know his team as well as others, build a camaraderie, community of your coworkers kind of thing, and hasn't built that trust, hasn't built that relationship with his coworkers. And of course, every employer is a competitive marketplace, and people are vying for promotions and raises and so on and so forth. And so, on multiple occasions, as a friend of mine has conveyed to me, when an important deadline is coming up, estimate has to be done, drawings have to be done. When he completes his work that's due the next day, he files it away in the cloud because everyone has a cloud. And then the next morning, when he signs on to check to make sure, of course, the task was completed, manager got the documents, manager was able to do the review, documents have been deleted.
Mm.
Weeks worth of work gone.
Mm.
It's a community cloud. Everyone has access to that cloud. Anyone can log in through someone else's terminal, so to speak, and delete any documents they want, particularly when they want to make their coworker look bad because they want the promotion.
Yikes.
And this is not I've heard this story from multiple parties, and this takes place, I'm sure, thousands of times every day across the United States. Because guess what? Within many corporate environments, we've created a competitive culture. Dog eat dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
So talk about conflict.
I mean,
Talk about cost.
yeah, and it sounds like that competition overrides the shared mission or the shared goals, right? Every organization or corporation even has,
You hope.
should have some sort of shared goal or mission.
Right.
So then how do we make culture building a shared responsibility instead of just HR's job?
I think I think the first thing you do is hire Dr. Lowe. Right?
Well, you can plug me, okay? That's
Right,
different.
of course. Bring Dr. Lowe in because she can fix anything. I just said it, anything. So it is certainly not something that can change overnight. Culture is something. I'm from Detroit, and so we quote all of our rock stars. I'm not going to quote Eminem, but there's a few others that come up with these wonderful quotes. But to paraphrase, culture is not something you build. Culture is something you feel.
I want to hear this Eminem quote. What is it? I want to hear the relevant Eminem quote right now.
The Eminem quote is "God sent me to piss the world off," but that's not the right one for this case. I'm trying to think of the the name is. I'm 55 years of age. My memory fails me on a regular basis. It's gonna hit me on the ride home
On a random moment, yeah.
But he's talking in this quote. He's talking about. In this quote, he's talking about brand, right? And brand is not something you build. Brand is something you feel. And the same thing can be said. Kid Rock, I think it was Kid Rock that said this. I forget. Anyway, to paraphrase, culture is not something you can build. Culture is something you feel, right? Yep. It's not that you don't go to Home Depot and buy a hammer. You don't hire an interior decorator and hang some wallpaper. That's not culture. So it's not something you can do in 24 hours. It's something that's going to take time, not days, not weeks. It's going to take months. It is.
Even years.
Yes. In some cases, yes. And it's something you have to work on. And guess what? You're going to have to fire some people because along the way, I promise you, a few of your folks are going to do everything they can to destroy it because it doesn't suit their interests. And members of your board will be a few of those. That's the challenge. So, I forget your question.
Me too. But you brought up a good point that I do want to emphasize because we talked about this on your podcast as well. We live in a culture of instant gratification, and again, everybody wants quick results, and it's myself included. Sometimes I do get caught up in it. But when it comes to cultural transformation or transformation of any kind, I can't stress that it takes time and consistency.
Yes.
Not even just time.
Yes.
You can't do something once and then over some months expect some changes. Like you have to do the unpleasant thing every single day, intentionally, purposefully, and that's when you begin to see the changes. And again, the goal is making it more habitual so that it's second nature. And after a while, you're not even thinking about it.
I got another anecdote.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does a large organization, I'm going to answer every question 3 questions later.
Okay.
How does a large organization take advantage of these opportunities, right? So when the University of California established the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, right? The anecdote that everyone knows about. A couple of kids at the school were messing around with some formulas they probably shouldn't have been messed around with and blew up their dorm room, and so to speak. And instead of expelling the kids, they recognized the brilliance and the talent that these kids had, and they set them up in their own space far away from campus. And thus was born the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. When Steve Jobs decided that the Apple Lisa wasn't going to make it and he wanted the Macintosh, right? What did he do? He took some of the best team members that were available at the time. Actually, he took them from the Apple II team. It was the Apple II that he was robbing from, and set up a skunkworks operation, away from the main campus, right? The Macintosh team, as it later became known, to give birth to, of course, this beautiful thing. The large organizations, now we won't talk about Xerox PARC or Magic Cap, but sometimes they don't work out the way you want them to. But large organizations can take advantage of, again, hire the children and small teams, even within a large enterprise, if they can sequester them, which does serve the interests of a test case, right? As a marketer, we like to test things, right? But establishing a model, and once that model works, you could do 12 or 1,200 of these, find out which ones that work and discard the ones that don't, and then take those to the board. Okay, this is what we did. These are the results we have. Now we need funding to be able to do this, and we need time. That not only provides large organizations the ability to test these case examples, but establish the actual numbers, the metrics that they receive from these projects, to take that to the board in order to get approval for these large, what would have to be large scale projects. I knew there was an answer there somewhere.
Well, you brought up the point about metrics.
Right.
And so many organizations, like you said, are chasing metrics and consequently missing the meaning or mission behind the organization. So what is the cost of ignoring that emotional labor?
Now, emotional labor. Clarify for me,
Yeah, like the part, like you get, like we'll just say like the human element of it then. Like, so past chasing metrics and KPIs, when we don't incorporate everything else about us that makes us human, which is usually the emotional labor part of it, what are we missing?
I am going to piss a lot of people off.
Oh boy, this whole episode I'm gonna have to fact check and just apologize.
Publish it. The blame it all on me. So this is the Eminem quote, of course. I warned you. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it. KPI, key performance indicators, are bull crap. Dashboards. Well, I worked in management
They serve
consulting.
no purpose at all.
They serve some purpose. But I lived in New York. I sold dashboards. I worked at a management consulting firm. I was the bad doer, right? Part of this is my fault. So I know what it's like to be on the other side of the desk. But it's all bull crap. Most executives know you can, it's not just lies, damn lies, and statistics. Forgive my French. But most executives know you can game the numbers to your advantage. That dashboard is created in order to make you look good. It's not, that dashboard is not created to challenge you and make you look bad. I promise you, they spent $100 million consulting contract on that dashboard. It's going to make that executive team look good, no matter what happens in the enterprise. And so metrics are real, metrics are reasonable. But the problem we have here is just like in a casino, right? Not to call out the NBA, sometimes the game is rigged, right? You don't even know. There's a magnet under the table, right?
Now I have to apologize to the NBA.
I love the NBA. I love the NBA, but some of their players are doing bad things. Shame on them. But the game is rigged. It's rigged to the advantage of whoever pulls the levers. So the question I would ask: are those metrics real? right?
Or what are they
What
measuring?
are they measuring? Are they measuring something that is real? Are they measuring something that does have impact? Yes, I realize the books that you've cooked are disclosing massive profits, and don't get me started on private equity because that's a shell game in many cases. If I'm found dead tomorrow, I am not suicidal. I want you to know that.
Oh my God.
I told you not to hold back. You're asking all the good questions. But what's important is the metrics are real. And so to come full circle,
Mm-hmm.
because I do like to pay attention occasionally, is if the metrics are real and if the metrics have impact, they would show human impact. But too often they don't because they're manufactured.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
So, for a founder or team lead listening right now, um, what is the first step you'd recommend towards building a culture that retains and renews people?
Ah, now we get to brass tacks. Kindness and empathy,
Mm-hmm.
right? That we've already talked about.
Yeah.
But here's something that, again, might upset some people. If you find, because we as we suggested, there's a cadre of executives who understand, who get it, who know what we're talking about,
Mm.
and they're not pissed off right now. They're validated. For those executives, if you find that you're working in an organization that has a culture that you can work with, great. Stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what to do. Push the envelope. Encourage your team members to get uncomfortable and stay uncomfortable. Best advice I could ever give you in the age of AI,
Mm-hmm.
because this is going to get real.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say real, I mean bad. So, but you're in the right place, perhaps. However, for the majority of executives that are not, that get it, that understand what we're talking about, but also understand that they might not be in an organization that understands these concepts, you have two choices. Door number one, you can roll up your sleeve, nut up or shut up, so to speak, and get to work, and it's gonna be a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what you enjoy, and there are many who do.
Yeah.
But rest assured, you're going to throw elbows, and you might not win.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're going to be fighting against an array of forces who are entrenched and who want to defeat you. There I am using those harsh words.
Mm-hmm.
Door number two, get out. Jump, for gosh sakes. If you get it, if you have talent and you understand what we're talking about, you and I both know, not you and I, but you and I, you know too. But the three of us, right, know that there are 10 organizations who would love to get their mitts on you, who will provide for you the opportunity that you require to deliver the gifts into the world that you were always intended to release,
Mm-hmm.
right? Jump. It's, in CEO and CFO, these C-suite executives, the turnover's no joke, right? So this is no stranger to this community. So that's my advice.
Strong words, Bernie.
Sorry. Like I said, I'm from Detroit. Careful what you wish for.
Oh my. Oh.
Dr. Lowe's making a note. No more guests from Detroit.
Yeah. This is not gonna be a new standard. So, because this is the resolution room, I like to end on one signature resolution question.
Sure.
So, when you think about the conflict between who we say we are as an organization and how we actually show up, what's one resolution you believe more leaders need to make?
I think that, and I like that, that's a great closing comment. So I think that if I were to pick one, and I'm choosing this very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest, and this one will be difficult, but rewarding at the same time. I'm going to suggest that you take the opportunity to shock the heck out of your team.
Elaborate.
Because you might be, I'm a hard driver. My wife, we're married 31 years, but my wife and I, we can't work together. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
jerk. Oh, you know this. Everyone knows this already, right? You don't want to work with me, right? I'm a hard driver. But what I want you to do is to shock the heck out of your team. Because, like me, if you are a hard driver, I want you to find an opportunity to sit down with one of your valued team members and tell them how much you appreciate their work. Tell them how much you appreciate the late hours, the extra effort. Yes, we have failed more times than we have succeeded, but you know that they have been there every step of the way. Find someone who is going to fall on the floor, fall out of their chair when you say this, and do it. Do it in a public room if you have the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to The Chosen, one of my favorite TV shows, when Simon Peter forgave Matthew. He did it in front of everyone and shocked the heck out of everyone at the same time. And what that did, and I don't mean to use a biblical example to answer this question, but it provides a remarkable example. When you step outside of yourself and shock the hell out of everyone else, you change everything.
Love it. Where do we follow you, Bernie?
Oh my goodness. Careful what you wish for.
You do that with caution, folks.
If
Please.
you dare. I'm on all the channels. Look for Bernie Youngblood, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the LinkedIn, right? Of course. You can find us on hotlogic.com. Right? I'll never pass up that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll say is God bless. And as I suggested before, get uncomfortable, stay uncomfortable, because this is going to get real.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you.
This is fun.
It really was.
I told you I was looking forward to this one. Dr. Lowe is awesome. She's the best.
Thank you, Bernie. Cuts. Part of Bernie's work is a simple but radical truth. People don't usually burn out because they don't care. They burn out because they're trying to care inside systems that weren't built to hold them. This conversation reminds us that culture isn't fixed, it's practiced. And when leaders are willing to notice the unseen emotional labor that people carry, they gain the power to design workplaces that are both human and high performing. As always, thank you for joining me in the Resolution Room. If this conversation resonated, I'd love for you to please like, share, subscribe, all the above. It helps this channel and it helps this podcast grow more than you know. Also consider joining our new community, the Resolution Society, found in the school communities. SKOOL, that is. And remember, until next time, keep building in the quiet because that's what will carry you forward.